Hello, this is the Sports Counterpoints podcast. I'm GB. I got Brian and Coop with me. It's February the 4th, 2025. What's going on, guys?
Man,
Man, back.
man, one more football game
I
left.
know it goes, these football seasons go hella fast. Shout
Man,
out to moms. I'll be telling her you got to watch all the games, even if we're not good, because the football season will be over quicker than you know it.
man.
So here we are, like you said, one last game. So today's show, NBA trades, as we had a few big time players move around. You might have heard if you're at all paying attention to sports. We'll talk about Coop had a question he wanted to throw to the two of us, and we'll talk about that related to NFL, and then we'll end with the Super Bowl shebang, if you will. So we'll talk about kind of our thoughts on the game, what each team needs to do to win, who we're picking, and all of that there. So let's jump in, man. NBA trades. What y'all one? I mean, I'm hearing the trades, but I haven't really. I feel the same about the NBA as I did before. So I don't really care, as I
Start
said
with
that.
let's start with the Lakers trade because I definitely want to hear what Brian has to say about this one.
Let's start at the top then. That's the biggest one, man. Luka Doncic goes to the Lakers. The Lakers receive Luka, Maxi Kleber, Markieff Morris. The Dallas Mavericks receive Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first round pick. And the Utah Jazz receive Jalen Hood Schifino, 2025 second round pick, and a 2025 second round pick.
Go ahead, B.
Well, I was at Intuit Arena, the new Clippers arena, nice place. Enjoying courtside seats, as a matter of fact, when the news broke.
Mr. Big Shot.
Right.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, well, it was for a high school basketball tournament. I could afford courtside for that.
I heard that. You wouldn't
Was
pay that money for the
100
Clippers anyway.
$125, $150 for
Yeah,
courtside.
Come to think about it,
Yeah.
you wouldn't spend no
Nah.
money on the Clippers. Yeah,
Absolutely
you're right.
not.
You're right.
Oh, hell no.
Okay.
Not
Absolutely
a
not.
dime. It was a nice way to see the arena, actually. But anyways, I was there, and all of a sudden, literally the entire crowd, which is a basketball crowd because it was a high school basketball tournament, just the murmur started growing. And oddly enough, I was there to see Sierra Canyon versus Notre Dame High School, Notre Dame being my alma mater, and Sierra Canyon being where Austin went to, but also where Bryce James goes to, LeBron's son. And so all of a sudden, the whole crowd started kind of, you could hear the murmur, what? Oh my God, what the hell? And then people started kind of actually talking to Bryce James, who's on the basketball. Did you hear what happened with the Lakers, Bryce? It was a little bit crazy. I gotta look. I think everyone who knows me knows I do not like Luka at all, and I don't think he's ever going to win a championship. And so I'm obviously very disappointed to hear that he's going to be on the Lakers. I have always thought that there's just something about him that I don't particularly care for. This is before he became overweight like Zion and unable to stay healthy like AD and others. But it's also that his style of basketball grates on his teammates. And I think we talked about this last year in the playoffs when I was talking about how I just don't think people want to play with him. So, you have to imagine that there's a pretty good reason for him to be the first player in history to be considered in his prime to get traded as a top 5 basketball player by some people's estimation without requesting a trade or even acknowledging that a trade was going on. First time ever in history. Looked at all the different big trades. Not a single one has there been somebody who was supposed to be as good as Luka getting traded. And as many players, including Charles Barkley, have said, just imagine how much the Dallas Mavericks, the team, not Cuban, obviously, because he still loves him, but how much they had to hate him to get rid of a player in their prime, take away $120 million from him, which is what he loses because he can't sign for the Supermax. That's a whole lot of hate. And I'm sure it's reciprocated at this point, but also statistically. So there's the global player rankings that they have over there. And right now, Luka Doncic is 86th overall, 25th for point guards this season. AD is 5th overall and 2nd amongst his position. And the Lakers gave up a first-round pick to get the 86th best player this year at point guard. it is so beyond asinine. It is so beyond comprehensible. It is absolutely making it complicated to picture rooting for the Lakers in any way, shape, or form at the moment. Maybe they prove me wrong and do anything, but I stand on Luka never being able to be the top player on a championship team. Maybe people will consider him the number 2 here, but obviously he's not. Jason, what do you think? Because this is complete and utter trash, in my opinion.
Yeah, so the text message I sent you guys, I got from somebody. I didn't believe it. I just thought it was a joke. People play stuff on the internet, whatever. The first thing I looked on the first app on my phone that's sports related, that's sort of reputable, was Bleacher Report, and it was on the front of Bleacher Report. And that's when I sent it to you guys. I couldn't believe it. And the first thing that came to my mind was not like a lot of Laker fans talked, oh, this is great, blah, blah, blah. The first thing that came to my mind was the Dallas Mavericks have built their team around Luka. They have marketed him. They did everything they can to make Luka comfortable, give him pieces, whatever. They went to the finals last year, and then they give him up to the Lakers. That's the first. They must know something that nobody else knows, because he was supposed to sign, like you said, a Supermax extension, and you gave up on him. And the Lakers, to me, were suckers for taking him. Maybe they might prove me wrong, but like I said, they were suckers for taking him. Look, I'm not, AD. We won the title with AD that one year because, let's be honest, we had that 3 months off because of COVID. He came back refreshed, healthy, and ready to ball. He hasn't come close to that type of season, since then. So I'm not mad getting rid of AD, but we got rid of AD for Luka. That's the part that pissed me off. I'm not a Luka guy at all. This guy, I forget being fat and lazy. Don't play any defense, and you just don't build it. He's not a number one where you build a team around a person like him. You just don't. He could be a talent, that's fine, but you don't build a team around Luka. And that's what the Lakers, it looks like that's their goal, to market him as their star and to build around him. Now, people talking about winners and losers as losers at this trade. Initially, I said the winner is the Dallas Mavericks, but ultimately the winner is whoever wins the championship. So if Dallas wins the championship, they definitely won. The Lakers win the championship. But that's how the ultimate winner of this is going to be judged. But I'm with you, Brian. I don't see a title with Luka and the Lakers unless there's maybe 2 other guys coming. Even then, that's still going to be hard because he dribbles the ball for 20 seconds and just has the ball too much, doesn't really do too much, doesn't move. He not really a leader, doesn't play defense. And you can just look at his body type. You can tell he's not the most in shape guy. He reminds me of a shorter Carmelo, a shorter, stockier Carmelo. Carmelo was never really the most in shape guy. That's which got kind of burnt out by like the second round of every playoffs. But I didn't like it. I didn't like the trade. There are a lot of Laker fans that are jumping for joy. I didn't like it. I just don't. It actually kind of pains me to just talk about it, to be perfectly honest with you. Glenn, what you think about it?
I love it. I was excited to talk to you all about this because I knew both your reactions based off of previous conversations. So the only thing that could possibly happen next that would be better is for Trae Young to come over. And
what's funny is I was going to say John Morant.
Oh man,
I was going to say John Morant.
Nah, Trae Young and Luka, because they got swapped for each other, both them over there with Westbrook coming off the bench.
Oh man,
I mean, I could just build a team for y'all. That's hilarious. But I knew y'all both were going to say this. I thought it'd be interesting because you're both Laker fans. You have watched basketball. You may not watch a ton right now, so your basketball knowledge is there, and your thoughts on players, et cetera. Because most people are like, wow. Most people are making this trade as if
a superstar for a superstar.
Well, they're saying the Lakers get a superstar for nobody. The conversations I'm hearing on everything is kind of like the Lakers trade old, broken down AD for Luka. Wow, how could they be so smart? How could they get this? I can't believe the Mavs would do this. You guys make a lot of good points because why do you make this trade? What's the rationale behind it? Who, for him not to know, get a call in the middle of the night, and then AD the same thing. AD's been a solid player for the Lakers. I mean, he's been injured, but
anytime someone's giving something away for free,
you're
getting what you paid for.
Yes.
That's always the rule. You're getting what you paid for.
When the Pittsburgh Steelers give up a wide receiver, you stay away from them. When Bill Belichick gives up a defensive player, you stay away from them. Dallas gave up their franchise. You stay away from that guy. Seriously, it's something that they know that nobody else knows.
I don't think it's an injury thing. I think they just recognize that he's just not someone that they want to build an organization around.
Right.
Pay all that money
all the
too.
Little things. It's the fact that he can't get his weight under control. Look, I guarantee you the New Orleans is trying to get rid of Zion for the same reasons. You can't build a franchise around somebody who is a professional athlete that can't, get their weight under control.
Yeah.
You can't build around somebody who, does the thing. Look, I don't even think it's a big deal that he had the beer. I just think that he had him flaunting the beer when it was obvious that the team didn't want him to do it. Like, that doesn't show that you're committed to the organization. I said I don't have a problem with him.
He was in the corner sipping. They snatched it out of his hand.
Man, it's
right. Snatched it right out of his hand.
And that's why, that's why he ain't getting 5 years, 350. Yeah. Yeah.
If you're going to give somebody, $350 million, and they can't just, walk that line.
Yeah.
I'll wear a suit every day. You want to pay me $350 million.
5 years, 350. You're with that person. You're committed, whether you like it or not.
But the part that kills me is that the Lakers not only mortgage the present, but they also mortgage the future. As I told you, this year in the global rate rankings, Luka's 86, AD is second in his position. And you had to give up an additional first-round pick in order to make this deal go through. Not only did they give up the better player currently playing, and AD's played really well when healthy this year. You also gave up the draft pick. I mean, you gave up everything, and you got back
interesting,
a relatively disgruntled. And look, and this is not a knock on. This part is not a knock on Luka. When I'm knocking Luka, I'm knocking his ability to play basketball, not the human being. But he is clearly still in his feelings. Like, if you watch the interview, the whole interview was, how hurt he was that he's not in Dallas right now.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't even have a player. And he said some really nice things about Kobe and Gigi and wanting to, but most of it was, I planned on staying there forever. I do, he talked about his closing of his house that he just closed on last week. That sucks. His mind's not even here. So you get to play the rest of this season with him, dreaming of his ex-girlfriend, basically.
Yeah. And the fact that they didn't tell either player or LeBron or whatever, I believe LeBron didn't know. I honestly believe it. I think the Lakers are trying to get out of the LeBron business, and so they don't need to run things by him anymore.
Yeah.
But I believe him. I believe everybody involved that they did not know this was happening. This was a shock to everybody. And we talked about the Lakers side, Brian. What about Dallas? How's Dallas look now? With AD.
So here's the thing. There's already rumors talking about how Kyrie, conversation, which is creating rumors about how when Kyrie was in Boston, he said that the two people he wanted to team up with the most was KD and AD.
Mm-hmm.
And he's halfway there. KD has after this season only has one more year at $54 million on his contract. And they've got a whole bunch of first-round picks that they got from everybody to get rid of their franchise player. So I don't think Kyrie, Clay, and AD are going to win a championship, but I think that team is probably the second best team in the West right now. I would behind OKC. And the thing about an OKC team is they're still young and still trying to figure it out. So most of these teams need to go deep into the playoffs that first time and lose before they bind and become champions, right? So you could say that Kyrie, who's won a championship, AD, who's won a championship, Clay, which has won multiple championships, is in a better position to go deeper in the Western Conference right now than OKC, even though they're a better team, just because of their history and their veteran savvy. So, from the Dallas perspective, short term, this is them putting their chips in the middle. I don't think it works out, but this is them putting their chips in the middle, and they're certainly looking better than the Lakers do right now.
Yeah,
the Lakers are now desperate trying to find a center. Talking about trying to trade for Jake Pottle and Stephen Miller.
Yeah, I think this puts me either. I think this puts Dallas in the NBA Finals. I really do. I think it's going to take I don't think it's going to take as long as people think for them to gel. With AD playing with LeBron, I think LeBron is a person it takes a long time to get adjusted playing with, and he did that pretty well. I think it's going to be a lot smoother with Kyrie. Clay is pretty much a spot up shooter, so you don't really have to learn how to play with Clay.
Yeah.
It's mainly just Kyrie. So I think this definitely vaults them in the finals. And I tend to lean towards the veteran teams when it comes to the playoffs. The Thunder, they are a good team. They have a good record. They're 39-9 right now, number one in the West by 6 games. But if you telling me in a 7-game series, am I going to take the young Thunder or if I'm going to take the veterans who've won titles? A few of them have won titles with Dallas. I'm going to take Dallas in that series. So I think this vaults
Agreed.
them to the NBA finals. But of course, we'll see. Time will tell. I mean, we all are going to look at this, both of these teams, and just to see how this trade shakes out. But,
What about the
Yeah, I
business of
mean,
Luka?
sorry,
What
say
about the
again?
business of Luka?
well, Brian,
What about it?
you're in LA. You tell me. You think
I
Luka
mean,
brings business?
No,
I think-
he's not somebody that LA
Bro,
roots for.
You guys,
He's not somebody that LA roots for.
the conversation I'm hearing has been different, but I'm not down there. So I'm curious on jersey
There was not a
sales.
single person in that arena who was like, "This is a great idea," and I was in an arena with full of basketball people.
Yeah,
Nobody in
international
LA. I haven't
jersey
heard anybody in
sales.
LA. I hear people. I hear Laker fans, or I hear Dread, talking about it out. But people in LA, I have not heard a whole bunch of people who were like, "Wow, this is it." The other thing is
curious.
most people are talking about which ball hog gets the ball, hog the ball. LeBron, who needs the ball in his hands at all time, or Luka, who needs the ball in his hands at all the time.
Man,
Like, how
Brian,
does
Brian,
that even work?
Brian, you have no idea. People up here, especially in the Bay Area, Glenn, it might be the same for you. Laker fans are loving this trip. Like, man,
Of
y'all got
course.
Luka. I'm sitting there
Everybody,
like,
bro, I'm here. That's mainly what I'm
man.
hearing.
But that's because they're Laker fans who are looking at the marketing and
That's what I'm wondering.
like they're not,
No,
they're
the
not
name,
looking at
the name.
how basketball games get
Yeah.
played and won.
Right.
You
The name is
cannot
that.
have two people who essentially play the same way. They're both ball controlling,
Ball dominant,
swing type players. LeBron just happens to be, chiseled from rock and great physical condition. Luka is not. And who are they passing it to? AD was not only one of their center, but he was also one of their best 3-point shooters.
Yeah.
He was one of their best passers. They don't got any of that. And Christian Wood hopefully will come back and maybe will be salvageable. But this is a team that AD actually said 2 weeks ago needed to trade for a big man. Well, they did trade for a big man.
Yeah, they got a big man. They got a large man. Yeah, they got a large man. Yeah.
Yeah, Markieff Morris is not the difference in this team.
Not at all.
They're so devoid of a team that you can put on the court. And I know I'm saying this, by the way, everyone, I'm well aware that they are kicking the Clippers' butt right now. That is a low bar.
Very low bar.
I am aware that they are kicking the Clippers' butt, but this is not a team that's going to do anything. I mean, Luka's not even there yet. As a matter of fact, they've won the last couple games in quite convincing fashion against the New York Knicks, who are really good, and now the Clippers, who are not. But a winning team, they're 28-22, only a couple games behind the Lakers. But they are not going to be able to beat real good teams like playoff contender teams.
122-97, and Cleveland's had a good season, but they just lost to Boston. Okay.
Yeah. So curious. So okay, all right. So unless you guys got anything else, I was going to switch to the other one from my people up north, Sacramento Kings. Man, De'Aaron Fox was talking about he wanted to be up out of there. They trade De'Aaron Fox and Jordan McLaughlin for Zach LaVine and 3 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks for the Kings, and then the Bulls get Zach Collins, Kevin Huerter, Trey Jones, and a first-round pick from the Spurs. So the Kings get Zach LaVine and 6 picks for De'Aaron Fox and Jordan McLaughlin.
6. It's so crazy to me.
I mean, NBA draft picks.
How far has Zach LaVine fallen that he's got to be packaged with 6 picks?
Man.
I
had
to trade.
I like Zach LaVine. I think he's a good piece. But
they
I
had
don't,
to trade
that's
De'Aaron Fox, though. So you had to trade him because he's already saying he wanted out. So you get a player and 6 picks, which is not bad for a player that's demanding to be up out of there.
Well, I mean, De'Aaron Fox is going to San Antonio. I said Popovich just out there stealing checks. I mean, San Antonio ain't doing nothing. Good for him though. Fox, I think Fox is already paid. I think he already signed an extension, so I guess it just carries over to San Antonio. But I'm with Brian. I've never been a huge Zach LaVine fan except in the dunk contest. But as far as like,
I think he's a great third guy on a team.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Man, this guy got packaged with 6 picks. He has fallen way down the totem pole, seriously. But that's the only thing I have about this team. When I found out that De'Aaron Fox was going to the Spurs, I was not interested anymore. I was like, oh, okay.
So
Whatever.
I
He's
have
who
the
I
opposite
wanted.
feeling.
Yeah,
Actually, I
I
have the
wanted.
opposite feeling. Go ahead.
I just wanted us to draft him instead of Lonzo years ago, but
Me
Yeah.
too, and
that was
Yeah.
still
all that
feel
it
that
was.
way
Yeah.
even right now. But I had the opposite feeling. I honestly think that you wanted to have you have Chris Paul, who's a veteran presence and can help be part of that. You have Victor Wembanyama, who's probably one of the better young talents in the
Yes.
league, and you have De'Aaron Fox.
Mhm.
I do not think this makes them a championship contender by any stretch. But if you're going to put together a team that's a little bit more exciting and could possibly steal a playoff spot, in a play-in game situation, I think you may have done that with De'Aaron Fox, because I don't think De'Aaron Fox is bad.
No.
he could play.
I don't know how and Victor Wembanyama is arguably very, very good. You've got other players. Harrison Barnes is on the team. Again, Chris Paul is on the team. This isn't a good team by any stretch of the imagination, but they're certainly not a horrible team when you have De'Aaron Fox, Paul, Wembanyama, and so on.
Yeah. I ain't got much to say, Glenn.
No, that's cool. The other ones, man, Caleb Martin goes to the Mavs for Quentin Grimes and a 2025 second round pick. I don't know if the Hornets.
Was
and
Caleb
Thunder
Martin
swap
with
a pick.
Miami?
No, he was with the Philadelphia 76ers.
Oh, Philadelphia.
Sixers.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, the rest of these are kind of but all right, cool. So that's what that is. Clippers trade PJ Tucker and Mo Bamba to the Jazz for Drew Eubanks and Patty Mills.
PJ Tucker. Oh, he's still in the NBA? Oh,
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Patty Mills, man. That guy, for somebody who has never been on anyone's list, has had a very, very nice career.
Out of St. Mary's? Oh, yeah. Australian guy?
He's still there. So,
Mhm.
Yeah, he's still collecting them checks. I mean, he's now been in the league. God, how many years? A lot of years.
I'm about to look at it right now. Yeah.
He was drafted in 2009, so that's not too bad.
yeah.
If you had him for 15 years in the league,
he's 36
when he got drafted.
Wow, he's 36.
The Suns trade the Jazz and get 3 first-round picks too for the future. So that's kind of it. But yeah, I just mainly with Luka, I want to get your guys' thoughts, which I already knew what they were. I just wanted to hear it. So
Patty Mills. No, he went to the Idaho Stampede, Melbourne. Okay, so he was out the NBA for a little bit. Okay. Oh, just for a year.
He's been all over the place, but he always gets back. He always gets 10-day deals.
Yeah. Good for him.
Numerous times ended back up on the Spurs.
Yeah. Good for him. Good career. Okay.
Yeah.
So that Coop, you had a question, man.
Yeah. So everybody, I was just curious. I mean, I know the fellas, but there's certain things I don't know about them. And it's football season. We got a dead period in the NFL, and I wanted to know. I know who my favorite quarterback ever, running back, wide receiver, defensive player, and offensive lineman, if people look at that stuff, ever. It's just my personal favorites. And I want to know the guys' personal favorites at every position, at 5 positions. 5 players in 5 positions, just out of curiosity. We got a little bit of time before we talk about the Super Bowl. So I guess we could start with you, B. I just want to know who your favorite quarterback ever. This is not a debate. This is not a ridicule.
No,
it's just want to know.
I'm going to cheat. I'm going to give you 2 names because I really couldn't separate them. It's Warren Moon and Lamar Jackson.
Okay, because I was going to give you 2 as well. Okay. All right.
Lamar and Warren. Wow.
All right.
Damn.
So I knew you was a Lamar fan, but now it's 2 fans. I'm like, okay, all right. Okay.
No, I love watching him play the game, and I think he's a much better thrower than a lot of other people do.
Yeah, you go play.
DB?
Man, that's tough.
Don't say Jim Plunkett and
Raiders.
Tom Brady.
I'd have to go if I was gonna do that. I'd go with the snake anyway with Kenny Stabler for pops. But for my lifetime, who was the most fun to watch? That's crazy.
It's a lot of fun quarterbacks.
Lamar's
fun.
Honestly, I'd probably.
That's hella fun.
for what he meant and watching games and the comeback will probably honestly be Mike Vick.
Okay. All right.
Vick up there.
I thought about him, but yeah, like I just like Lamar Jackson more, and it's the same kind of player.
Yeah, I was in Atlanta. Remember him on Madden? Remember the commercials? Remember the games?
Madden, he was fast as hell. Yeah,
bro. Remember his whole impact being in Atlanta. All of that representing Vic. But like,
shoot, when he came back in Philly, lit up the
crazy
Monday night game.
Crazy. I mean, honestly, it's crazy. Like to not say Tom Brady. Now at this stage of my life,
he said favorite though. We didn't say best.
Yeah, I'm not saying best. Just your favorite, your personal favorite quarterback.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, probably put Vic in there. Honestly.
Okay.
Well, if I had to pick one, that's where I'd go.
Well, we never thought we wouldn't see another Vic, and then Lamar Jackson kind of came and blew that out the water. You know what I mean? Killed
There's
that.
so many, man. That's crazy. But yeah,
Yeah, so mine is Warren Moon and Joe Montana. I'm with Brian. I got to cheat because Warren Moon, just seeing a black man at that time when there weren't many
Yep.
black men doing it, and what he had to go through, man.
And he
He had
was
to.
damn good.
Yes, he
yeah,
had to go to
Wormwood is
Canada
nice.
and win 5 championships before the NFL said, oh, okay, well, maybe you could play quarterback a little bit. I mean, kind of jacked up. But and Joe Montana, it's because he just never seemed like he ever got rattled. He was just so cool. And you hear all these teammates and all these stories about him. It's just like, man, this dude was, you couldn't help but have confidence that this guy was going to pull you through because he was just so cool and nonchalant, like nothing ever got to him. And so I always thought when I played sports as a player, I never want to be rattled. I want to be like Joe Montana. I want to be cool. I don't want to be all showing that I'm sweating or nervous or whatever. So that's so Joe Montana and Warren Moon, personal favorites. Moving on, I'll start off with my favorite running back ever is Marshall Faulk. Marshall Faulk to me is just so damn talented, man. 12,000 yards rushing. He got over 100 touchdowns, whatever. He was just so damn good. He's not really talked about amongst the greatest running backs, but he can run, he can
Yeah, he
catch.
was tough. He was.
I saw him at San
Yeah,
Diego State.
I was gonna say tough in college.
Yeah, and I know it was out of him, Miami, Gino Toretto, the quarterback from Miami, and Marshall Faulk at San Diego State. They played each other. Miami won in San Diego, but I saw in that game that Gino Toretto wasn't going to have an NFL career, and that Marshall Faulk would. Marshall Faulk was just great. I mean, they got blew out, I think, by like 2 or 3 touchdowns that
Didn't Toretto
game.
play for y'all?
Yeah, he played for Miami.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
played at San Diego State, and then and
Didn't
because
he
of
play
that
for the
game,
Niners?
for a little bit, yeah. Well, he
Yeah.
didn't play; he was on the team. But
Right.
yeah. So, but yeah, Gino Torrent ended up winning the Heisman Trophy that year. But Marshall Faulk was clearly the better player, and plus his favorite show was Sanford and Son, and so was mine. I didn't know that till later. But yeah, Marshall Faulk is my favorite running back ever. Brian.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, I'm going to say Adrian Peterson as one of the
Beast.
favorites.
Mm-hmm.
But and one of the things about even when he wasn't on the team, I loved watching him run
Yeah,
because he
Oklahoma.
ran at people
Yeah.
instead of around people.
Yeah.
and you could actively see people trying to get the hell out of his way. But the other one that deserves a mention was somebody I really liked watching, even when Adrian Peterson was kind of at the top of his league, and that's LaDainian Tomlinson.
Oh,
I mean, that man literally could do everything on a football
he was
field.
good. Yeah.
He
Hated
would,
it.
in a fantasy football world, he was throwing for touchdowns, rushing for touchdowns,
He played
receiving
us.
touchdowns.
Yeah.
Played us
There was
twice
nothing
a
he
year.
couldn't do. So he was always a fun watch.
Yeah.
And I just so happened to have had season tickets to the Chargers around that time because I could. And so, I saw a few of his more of his games live than I did Adrian Peterson and others. Although I did see Adrian Peterson's last game as a Viking, unfortunately, it was by accident. But yeah,
That's
it's
fine.
cool.
Yeah, he was good. What about you,
Damn.
GB?
LaDainian Thompson was crazy. He was in our division, so I watched him run all over the man. A couple, you know who else was nice? That Jamal Charles.
Oh, yeah.
Jamal,
Charles
Kansas City.
used
Jeez.
to get,
Yeah.
again in our division. But I obviously Bo Jackson's
Wow.
my favorite player
Mm.
in general. Definitely favorite running back. And another one I think of Steven Jackson. Steven Jackson was just fun to watch when he's on his Ram teams, and Edgerrin James with the Colts.
Edgerrin, I like Edgerrin. Edgerrin was
fun, man.
was a little less than
Miami
Marshall Faulk
too.
to me, but I love
Yeah.
Edgerrin James. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
Edgerrin.
Yeah, he was a fun piece on those teams.
You know my favorite Raider player is, Glenn? Ever?
Marcus Allen, right?
Marcus Allen. Love Marcus Allen.
There's only 2 options. That's not to say the rest of the team, but
Yeah,
Bo Jackson and Marcus Allen are the only
Jason.
2.
Yeah.
Marcus Allen. But it was
I got
hard.
both jerseys.
It was hard to play Tecmo Bowl though, because Bo Jackson was running over people and he was so damn fast. You know what I'm saying? It's like I want to get Marcus the ball, but damn, Bo Jackson.
Yeah, I had packages.
You know what I mean?
was just playing Tecmo Bowl the other day. I got these 10,000 game pads.
Man, crazy.
I was Okay.
All right, I'm not gonna start this. So Glenn, I'm gonna let you start this. Some favorite wide receiver ever. What you gonna say? Tim Brown?
Nah, it's got it.
Okay.
It's Randy, Jerry. So Randy Moss, Jerry Rice. And you know who else I loved? I can't even lie, was Reggie Wayne.
Oh, word. Okay. Good route runner.
Yeah,
Good route runner. Yeah.
Reggie Wayne and Peyton were crazy, just like Andre Johnson in Houston. But yeah.
Okay. Brian?
Justin Jefferson.
Really?
Right now.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
He's crazy. Yeah,
Bro, more than Randy Moss?
He wants to be on the team. Randy twice decided he didn't want to be on our team. Still love him, still think he's great.
Yeah. Trying to get his bread.
One of the things that I love most about Kobe was that he wanted to be a Laker, minus that one summer. But one of the things that I really like about Justin Jefferson is, there's not a whole lot of people who get excited about the idea of playing in Minnesota, and he has brought that excitement. He's been great. He's been a great team guy. He's my favorite.
Yeah, my favorite is it's two. Number one is Jerry Rice, because that's the position I played. Of course, I knew I never wanted to be Jerry Rice. I can never be Jerry Rice, but I just like the way he trained. He took it seriously. He wasn't the fastest guy, but great route runner. My second favorite is Chris Carter. Always like Chris Carter because I used to watch him run routes. I think Randy Moss' career in Minnesota early on was elevated because Chris Carter was there. Chris Carter was a complete wide receiver. Not saying Randy Moss wasn't good, but Chris Carter was just so good to me. I know he had alcohol issues in Philly, and then he came to Minnesota, kind of turned his life around, and he was a killer out there, man. Chris Carter was a really good receiver. Yeah,
stand-up dude too.
Favorite. Yep.
Yeah, I'm thankful for the time period to be born in to actually see all these guys play.
Yeah,
including the young guys.
Any of y'all got a favorite offensive lineman?
Yeah, mine's Hutchinson for sure.
Okay.
And I love the contract. To this day, I love how that whole exchange worked.
Steve Hutchinson.
Well, he played for the Seahawks, and then remember the Minnesota gave him the spike deal because they knew that he would not be the top, wouldn't be the top player, and so they had it so that if he wasn't the top player, he got an extra couple million. So Hutchinson had to let him go. Okay. So the following summer, the Seattle Seahawks did the same spike deal for was it Sidney Rice to take our star wide receiver who did absolutely nothing. But anyways, Hutchinson is my lineman.
How about you, GB, offensive lineman?
Man, I think of Art Shell first, but because of what he meant for the league in total. But I'd honestly probably say Quentin Nelson.
Colts, the guard from Indianapolis. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, bruh.
He's really good.
Watching him is crazy, man. And he just has fun doing it.
Okay. Mine is two, but it's really one. It's really Jonathan Ogden from Baltimore. He was just so damn big.
Oh, yeah.
And you couldn't get around him. I mean,
100%.
It's like just watching him operate with them long arms and legs. It's just like, damn, man, how does he? Yeah, he was incredible. And another one was Brian McKinney. He played at the University of Miami. Then he went to Minnesota. They called him Mount McKinney. He never gave up. He never gave up a sack in high school. He never gave up a sack in college, and he was just so damn huge. Yeah, real talk. He wasn't as good as Jonathan Ogden, but he was very good, man. So as far as linemen, I would say them.
He was just hitting his pro stride when things went sideways that summer.
Real talk. Favorite defensive player. Go ahead, Brian.
This is easy. It's John Randall. Nobody bleeds the purple like that guy. I mean, even now he posts stuff that's just him and his yard and gear. There's plenty of really great players to like, but I'm a Viking fan, and he's the most Viking of all time.
Okay, bro, I can't, man. There's so many, bro. That makes me think of Reggie White, man.
Yeah, this dude would toss around grown 300
It was so
pound
cool
men
to
like
see.
it was nothing, man. For
One
real,
hand,
Reggie White.
was it Demarcus Ware from
Marcus Ware? Yeah, he went to Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, he was crazy. Obviously Dion was crazy on the field, but if I got to go, to top would be Khalil Mack. Max Crosby right now. Khalil was crazy, man. When he was with us those first years, bro was unstoppable.
He's still pretty good.
He still was pretty good.
But back then he was
get
good.
moved around, but man, he was insane to watch, bro. One of it was so much fun to watch him and Warren Sapp.
It's funny you said that. I was listening to some guy who used to work for the Raiders at the time. They said when they drafted Khalil Mack, by the second practice, they were like, he's the best player on this team. he was like that good. Like they knew he was that good. So it wasn't a shock when he, rose to stardom or whatever.
It was a shock when they traded him.
Well, yeah, I was too. My favorite player, a defensive player, I'm going to mention two, but they're kind of similar. Number one is Ronnie Lott.
Ronnie Lott. I knew that was coming.
I have his jersey.
Yeah, Ronnie's crazy.
I love Ronnie Lott. I mean, that's when you can be able to hit people. I would never want to go across the middle with Ronnie Lott. But the other one was Sean Taylor. Rest in peace. Sean Taylor was definitely in my mind going to be a Hall of Famer. He was leading the league in interceptions after like 3 games when he got unfortunately shot and killed. Went to the University of Miami, man, but I just thought Sean Taylor, man, really had a chance to do some great things in the NFL. And then after that, one more, I got so much love for him, is Ed Reed. Ed Reed played all the secondary positions. He was a punt returner. Man. People don't know that. In Miami and Baltimore, he ran a couple Super Bowls. He's the leader of that defense, or Ray Lewis. Ed Reed was like a football player, man. If you love football, you gotta love Ed Reed. Even if he wasn't playing on your favorite team, man, just from a football standpoint. So I would say those guys would be my favorite defensive players.
We gonna have some dead space, which you said, when the season's over. We may need to do a top 10.
Yeah, we could.
position
Our
because
own
I
personal
got
top
once
10.
you
We
start
could.
saying it, bro, I got so many. Like,
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
to not say Ray Lewis is crazy. Aaron Donald, I'm so glad I got to see his
Aaron Donald.
career.
But I didn't say defensive lineman, but yeah, Aaron
Yeah,
Donald, man. Yeah,
to
I
watch
would.
his career was
Oh
crazy, bro.
man.
Dude was insane.
There have been some good defensive tackles, man. John Randall was a good one. Warren Sapp was a good one.
Yep.
Like you said, Aaron Donald was a good. It's been some good guys,
Bro,
man.
them old
Seriously.
Giants team, Justin Tuck and Yora, them boys was fun to watch together.
Yeah.
Like, man, word. All right, word up. That's solid. Cool. I like this concept. Favorite tight end, Brock Bowers. You know what I'm saying? So there's some.
Shoot, he darn sure might be mine. The way he
Oh
looks.
man, right.
That guy's incredible.
Yeah, there's some
Man.
players out there. So that's
All
cool, man.
good.
All right, so I like it, Coop. So yeah, we'll think of some more of these because these are fun to kind of reminisce and just think about other stuff outside of, kind of the stuff we're watching. So good suggestion, man. So as we get to it, this is it, man. The grand finale. Football season is done. You got the New England. Wow.
I know.
Talking
They're
about
not in it.
history, bro.
Trained. Yeah.
I know.
They won't be
bro.
there for a while.
Crazy,
Yeah.
crazy. I almost said the Patriots. That's crazy. Talking about history. Now you got the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles Part 2.
Man, but Brian, I'm gonna let you start with this, but I do want to say, man, I was just thinking about this before we had the podcast, man. These are two really, really good, well-ran organizations, man. They draft well. They got the right players involved. I mean, people are acting like that this was a shoe-in. People don't remember that Carson Wentz was drafted really high and got paid a lot of money. And they were like, yeah, we're going to kick you to the curb and start Jalen Hurts. They did not know if this was going to work out or not. Now he's in his second Super Bowl now. You know what I'm saying?
To your same point, they drafted him. Danner took him to the Super Bowl. He got hurt at the end.
Right.
And they won a Super Bowl. So even then, the draft pick was solid.
Right. And then with Kansas City, I know everybody talks about Mahomes. I mean, Mahomes is my favorite player too, but let's be honest, when Kansas City traded up for him, nobody thought this was going to be a shoe-in. They had to make this thing work. And so remember, they only had practice in one game, and they just kicked Alex Smith to the curb. Alex Smith came off his best season
a year later
as a pro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like nobody knew that this was going to work. So this is a credit to both GMs and both coaches, making, all this stuff work with these acquisitions, man. Because remember, Jalen Carter, nobody wanted to touch him. The Philly got him. Kansas City traded up to get word. I mean, these organizations are really good organizations, man. But I'll stop talking. Brian, I think we should talk about what I guess each team must do to win. You want to start with Philly, what they got to do to win this game? Because I know you're a big Saquon guy. So
yeah, I was going to say, I mean, it's going to be an all-day Saquon kind of day if they're going to be able to do it. They've got to get him, and it's not a matter of whether or not he gets 250 yards. He doesn't have to do that, but he has to establish a ground game and get lots of carries and get them on their back step because that's the way that they're going to be able to free up on the offensive end to pass. So if the pass is successful, it's going to be because the running game got established. So even if he only gets 80 yards or 100 yards or whatever. It doesn't do 250 yards like he's been doing all postseason. It's just important to get Saquon established early, often, and keep them stacking the line so that you can get some single coverage in the secondary and make some passes downfield. So I think that's the most important thing there. I can let the cat out of the bag. I also think that they need to play the defense that they've been playing all season long. Remember, they're the best defense in the league this year statistically. And I think that they're going to win as a result of that. So, I'll talk more about my pick later, but I really think that Philly has a good shot here, and all they have to do is do what they do and don't try and overthink the damn game plan. So often you get coaches that get to this point, like, well, they're thinking we're going to try and run the ball a whole bunch, so we're going to chuck it 60 times. If you do that, they will lose. They will get smoked. They need to go and do what they do best, play defense and run the ball.
Teams do that against KC. Look, the best game I've ever saw Jalen Hurts throw from the pocket was against Kansas City in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I of course I didn't think that was sustainable, but that was the best I've ever seen him throw.
Yeah, he was balling.
I mean, he made some pinpoint passes. Okay. I don't think they should do that again. They need to give the ball to Saquon Barkley. Okay. Give it to him early, give it to him often, and try to establish that line of scrimmage and I'm with you. He doesn't have to get 250 yards rushing. What he has to do is be enough of a threat to open up the passing lane so Jalen Hurts can make some easier throws to his wide receivers. And he needs to get A.J. Brown involved early before you lose him. They got to call some plays for him in the first quarter because you don't want to have that guy being a head case for the rest of the game because he's not getting the ball. So I think it's a lot of Saquon mixed in with some A.J. Brown to start the game, and that should be the tone, for Philly to try to win this game. On the defensive side of the ball, actually, you know what? I'll wait till we get to Kansas City before I talk about that. You good with Philly? Want to go to what Kansas City got to do to win this game,
I was gonna
Brian?
say, I think you guys are. I hear what y'all are saying, but I think Saquon does. He ain't got to get 200, but he got to get 199. I think he's got to be the MVP running all over them boys. Him having less than 100 yards. I mean, I get what you're saying. Well timed, key running plays, keeping the clock running, getting first downs, moving the ball. Absolutely. But I think if he has 80 yards or something,
Well, I think it's a
if they're
natural
trying to keep
artifact
it
of their
close.
success that he'll get a whole bunch of yards. But
Yeah,
I don't
he
think that I don't think they need to. If they go to it early and he's not getting 4 or 5 yards of carry and they go away from it, that is the
Yeah,
mistake.
no, don't do that. Don't do that. No,
You know, that is the
agreed.
mistake. All of Derrick Henry is better in the third and fourth quarter. Saquon Barkley better in the third and fourth quarter, and that's because it takes a lot to have to keep on running after the same dude every single play.
Agreed.
You got to just stick after it. Anyways,
Yeah,
moving
Philly
on.
can't
100%
put this game. Philly can't put this game on Jalen's back. Not how he's been throwing recently. They
No.
can't. They got to go Saquon. They got to ride him. He has to be MVP.
For me, it's not a knock on Jalen. It's just as simple that he plays better when it's taking those opportunities.
Yeah. So on the Chiefs side, what do y'all think? I mean, we've already seen him do it.
Well, I'll start with the Chiefs.
Every other year.
Yeah, the Chiefs, they have to play the same way that they play in the Super Bowl because the Philadelphia defense is built like the 49ers. They got big, strong guys. They don't have too many fast guys in that defense. What KC did in the first Super Bowl, what I said they should do now, again, is that quick passing game. KC has a lot of fast guys that they just run a lot of crossing routes with. They couldn't get to Mahomes. I think they had 0 seconds in that Super Bowl because Mahomes got rid of the ball in about 2 seconds because those little fast guys that he has, he just gets the ball in there and they get him in space and they get like 4 or 5 yards at least a pop. And you keep doing that the entire game. That's what KC has to do because Philly doesn't have anybody fast. Xavier Worthy, and I think there's another guy. I forgot Rashid Rice or somebody. I'm not sure if he's playing or not, but they got all these little guys. They used Jerick McKinnon in that one Super Bowl, but he's not with the team anymore. But you got those little fast guys. Got to do them crossing routes because Philly is not going to be able to keep up with those guys. If Mahomes gets the ball of those guys, it's going to be a long day for that Philly defense. Now, I don't think Philly's going to score. I don't think KC's going to score 30, 35 points this game. That's not really the kind of team they are, but I think they can score enough, in the high 20s to win this game. Brian, what do you think KC has to do to win?
So I agree with you on the short and mid-range passing game, quick out passes, because that's where they play best in the passing game. But I think it's equally important. I think for them, it's balance. I've said it all throughout the season. They play better when they have Hunt in, and that's because Hunt can run between the tackles and set up those quick pass plays because they start putting people in the middle to stop Hunt. That's what gets them on the play action. If you're going to sit there and the little scat backs who run out to the outside the whole time, the defense is the same, whether or not it's a pass for a running back or a pass for a wide receiver. The only way that you give them a different look is if you do play action off with Hunt going towards the middle, and that frees up those quick guys on the outside for quick passes. So I think that a balance is necessary. I think Hunt should be their guy. There's already a whole bunch of people who think that the under over of 11, I think it's 11 and a half carries for Hunt. They're already saying to do the under. I can guarantee you this, if they do an under and it's under 11 and a half carries, they're going to lose. Yeah. Hunt needs to get 12, 15 carries.
I should have checked that prop bet. Yeah, this is the game, though. This is why you get DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins is definitely going to have to be a factor in this game. They remember they had Kadarius Toney. That one Super Bowl, he had 5 catches for 67 yards. DeAndre Hopkins, of course, is better than Kadarius Toney. So look for DeAndre Hopkins to show out a little bit.
Yeah. The only thing I want to see is Saquon and Hopkins win. I don't want to see either of these teams win.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Anybody else?
Yep, I'm with you on that.
Agreed.
GB, anything?
No, I mean, I think like y'all said it all. The Kansas City's done this. They do what they've been doing. They got it. I think if we're at the point of making picks, I don't think there's a way they don't win this third one in a row.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think they lose.
Speaking of picks, B, go ahead. You said it.
Just go ahead.
Okay.
I take Philly. I think they've got the best D in the league. They've got the best running game in the league. and they've got an opportunistic offense. And, you know, Casey obviously has found amazing ways to only have one real loss. The second one was basically when they sapped the entire team. They're as crafty as they get. The coaching is outstanding. Their defensive coordinator only seems to be better in the playoffs.
Yeah,
he wasn't very good during the regular season in Spagnolo. But for whatever reason, I just feel like Philly has all the right pieces. And I just think Casey's right. It's hard to do 3 times in a row.
Yeah, Philly, you know, they actually
And I don't like Philly, by the way. Please don't start calling me a Philly fan. I can't.
I hear you. The last Super Bowl they played, Philly was actually underdog and then ended up being the favorite when the game started. I don't think it's going to happen this time. It's that 1.5, KC minus 1.5. Philly has all the tools to win this game. They can definitely win this game, but I'm taking KC. For some reason, I just think that, I don't know. It just seems like everything's just aligning. These calls and just everything that's just happening, these 50-50 calls and just bounces that go their way. I just think everything's just aligning for Casey to be the first three-peat team ever in the history of the NFL. Will it surprise me if Philly wins? No, but if I had to put my money, I think there's a coaching advantage on KC, and I just think that I'm not sure if Philly will be able to guard those fast guys on KC. I know in that first Super Bowl, in the second half, KC scored at will against them. They pretty much play the exact same defense as they did then. So I'm not sure if Philly can figure that out or if they'll put up enough points to win this game. So I'm going to take KC. Not because I'm a KC fan or a Philly fan. Just
I get it the same way. And look, I can absolutely understand how KC can win this game. They're a really, really freaking good team. Have been all 3 years. I just, sometimes time runs out. I'm just gonna pick the other side.
You have what you got, GB?
I'm a Raider fan, man. You know the conspiracies are right.
Okay.
Them referees is there referees at this game? Kansas City. Is Taylor Swift at this game?
Oh,
Kansas
man.
City. Would it be funny. How great would it be for the NFL to be able to tout the first three-peat?
Right. That's what I think they
shout
want
out
to do
to
so
Pat
bad.
Riley. Shout out to Pat Riley.
Pat Riley's about to get rich.
Get paid, right? Three-peat. NFL, it's never been done. We're the first team to do it. Blase. Look at us. Patrick Mahomes on his way to being the greatest. Man.
Dude, Brian, you got any thought on the total? Over under is 49. Now, I personally bet the under. That's me. I personally bet the under.
So I was going to say, if I were doing a pool pick, I would absolutely. I think the under is the more realistic and more likely thing. In the one pool pick I had to do, I'm way, way behind. And so I had to pick the over because it's the only way that I knew I'd get a pick on the people at 82. But yeah, I think it's the under game. Yeah. I think, I like I said, I think that the defense of Philly, if they play the way they can, and if the Philly's going to have a chance of winning, it's going to be an under game more likely than an over game.
Yeah.
If everyone's scoring at will. Right. I don't think there's a lot of teams.
It's a Saquon Barkley run game, and then Chiefs offense is dink and dunk and kind of slow. It's not a fast break offense. So yeah, I'm definitely on the under. Anything?
Yeah,
what about
you need a 2-score. They need to go into the fourth quarter of the 2-score. You go into against Mahomes up 1 score or 3 points in the fourth quarter, you've already lost.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the
24-20 Kansas City.
24-20 Kansas City. Okay.
Yeah, I read some interesting stat on Mahomes, but I think I lost that text, man. It was crazy. He's like 7 for 7 in situations where he's down in the fourth quarter with 1 minute to go when he started the game, losing something like that. It was fucking crazy stat. Like, wow. So, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, it's tough.
We'll see.
Like they say in boxing matches, you got to knock out the champion to win it. You got to knock out the champion to win it, especially with KC.
Right.
I think it was Andre Iguodala said this about the NBA Finals, but it rings true. He said something like, "You need to win by 10 to win by 3."
Yeah.
Something like that. So it's the same kind of situation. They better be up and stay up if they're gonna have a chance in Philly. But they got, like you said, they got all the tools to do it. But they better come out fast.
Yeah.
First quarter, get hot, and then the third quarter. That's gonna be it. They come out slow in the second half, it's a wrap.
Yeah, Casey usually starts these games off slow. I mean, I've seen him in so many Super Bowls now, of course, against my team. For now, it's looked good in the first half, but the adjustments that KC make in the second half, man, is like no other. So the second half is really what I'm going to be looking forward to watching, because everything can change then, but we'll see.
So interesting quick question, since we got a minute or two, but with the New England dynasty, when you had Belichick and Brady, there's always been debate about whether Belichick was really good or just riding Brady's coattails. I don't think there's anybody who's going to say that foolishness about Reed and with Mahomes. I mean, the reality of it is Reed is an outstanding coach, and the way you can tell is those in-game changes that he makes. I mean, you know, they may fall behind, but Reed just knows how to find a way to get them back in it, and it happens consistently enough that anyone who would try and knock Reed's legacy because he had a great quarterback in Mahomes is
well, I mean, every great coach is Walsh had Montana. I mean, you got to have somebody play the position.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But you can tell the great coach when they make those in-game changes to get
but also Reed did it with multiple quarterbacks.
Yeah. Well, remember, we were all me and Brian were on the Reed thing way before he started winning Super Bowls. We were already on him. The fact that he made 4 NFC championships with Donovan McNabb, who's really not that accurate of a thrower, that says a lot right there.
I was gonna say McNabb.
You know what I mean?
He had Alex Smith cooking. He had like Vic and them. Everybody that came in played well for him. So I mean, the guy can coach. He's filthy on the offensive.
It took him, and you know, it took him 18 years, you know, to win. So it's like when people talk about Shanahan,
right?
It's like, well, I mean, you know, to Reed 18
winning championships is hard.
Yeah.
Which is why all these people who want to knock Mike Tomlin and be like, he hasn't done anything for me lately. Man, shut up.
Well, Mike Tomlin's still a good coach.
Well, Vikings fans, don't tell me nothing about how hard a championship is to win.
No, he's still a good coach.
I don't want to do it.
Mike Tomlin.
We could do it next week or some point because I want to ask you guys about Myles Garrett and also what that means as far as this concept of, you know, playing for a winner and is your legacy diminished if you don't get a championship. So keep that in mind. I'm not saying we do it now because I think we're making good time.
Because I heard something about Max Crosby today. And they were saying when you're a good defensive player, it's really hard to play for a team that doesn't win. You get frustrated and pissed off about it as a defensive player, and you kind of want to bounce. And that's probably where Myles Garrett is at right now. Myles Garrett is he's hella good.
Yeah, he already said he wants
hella good. So
let's add that in. But yeah, so that's I think we did a good time. That's our show. Let's get to the end of it, man. The game ball, Coop segment, man. Who's
man, it wasn't even no damn games, huh? You know what? I don't even have a game ball. I do not even think about it. I don't have a game ball. B, you got one?
The Lakers for a great trade and defeating the Clippers.
That's who's not getting my game ball
tonight.
Who's not getting my game ball? Brian, where your game ball going to?
Man, I'm not. I'm punting on this one.
Yeah, me too.
I'm gonna preemptively give mine to Kendrick Lamar for Super Bowl performance. I haven't wanted to watch one in a long time, so that's
all
cool.
Right. 2 punts and a give.
Hogwash.
Mine is the Pro Bowl. Sorry.
Was there one?
I heard it was one. I can't. I mean, once you got people like Russell Wilson and Drake May going to the, actually, you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I was really done with the Pro Bowl a few years ago when Mac Jones went. I was like, you know what? I wasn't watching it. Now I'm never watching it again. I'm done.
Yeah, once Russell went in, I laughed because I already knew what you was gonna say.
I was like, really, man, seriously. But the thing is, you know, all these guys are opting out, and they should. Yeah. I mean, it's not how it used to be. You know, where you only make like a couple $1 million a year, which at that time was a lot of money, but now it's pretty much nothing. I mean, talk about a free trip to Hawaii. Everybody's talking about I get a free trip to bring my family to Hawaii. Like, man, these players taking their people to Cancun or they're going everywhere now. They ain't worried about no damn Hawaii.
Well, that it's not in Hawaii. It's
right.
Mostly in Orlando, so.
But it's all good. Oh, and that too. There you go. It's not. Vegas, that's right. It's Orlando. That's right. Good point. Orlando. Who's yours?
I didn't actually think. I thought the QB activities were kind of fun to watch. But anyways, my hogwash goes out to the Los Angeles Rams. So all season I was talking about Cooper Kupp and Puka, and I said, look, Cooper Kupp is not right, and there's something going on, and he's playing hurt, and there was a game where he had to sit out and everything else, and that man was playing in a bad wheel, trying to do everything he could, and a whole bunch of people told me I was nuts, like, oh no, Cooper Kupp is still the guy, and then they dumped that man on like day one of the postseason. The Super Bowl hasn't even been played yet. And they're like, hey, so thanks for everything you've done for us.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, we're immediately seeking a trade.
They let him know at least. They thought more of him than Luka.
It was cold. So, yeah, the Los Angeles Rams are hogwash for what they're doing to Cooper Kupp. I actually think that this is going to work out really, really well because can you imagine him replacing an A.J. Brown who they want to get rid of because he's a pain in the butt in Philly, or being the other guy out with the other guy with Hopkins where they have money over there, or going to one of these teams that has money and has an opportunity to win a championship. I think Cooper Kupp is the kind of guy that would be the number two wide receiver on a team that wins a championship next year. So I hope for his sake that it works out.
Nice.
Go to Minnesota because we're going to win next year. Maybe not. But it's a bunch of hogwash that they did. Somebody who had literally played his entire heart out for the Rams, they did him dirty.
Yeah, it happens. Mine, I'll
It does
just
happen.
go. I'll just go NBA in general. I mean, all of these big trades, people talking about them, and I was like, all right. I mean, I didn't like, there's been other times player gets traded. I'm like, yo, look at this. I'd send it to y'all just because I knew y'all would clown. Like there was no emotional attachment. I don't even care. So NBA, y'all got to figure it out. And then I saw something about the ratings being down tremendously. Like it's just not there. Last of the segments, minute to win it. Man, shout out to everybody watching the big games. Enjoy your weekend. It's still early. I'm already looking forward to the weekend. You already know, but just thanks everybody for listening. Nothing but love and stay safe.
Yeah, I'm saying. Well, I echo the same sentiments. Thanks everybody for listening.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people who are, the fires are done, but the trauma still exists. And so I know numerous people whose houses burned down, people whose houses didn't burn down, who are really going through it. And it almost seems like, just that quickly, people are like, oh, the fires are out. But now's where the real kind of drama and trauma kind of picks up. They're dealing with these insurance agencies, which are shiesty as shit. And having to try and figure out how they're going to get to put their lives together. People still haven't been able to move back into their houses because even if your house didn't burn down, the smoke damage in some cases is rendering your home useless, even unusable. And there's a lot of people that I know that are like trying to pick up their pieces right now. So I just wanted to say I personally haven't forgot about those folks. I'm going to take a pass. Anybody who can read or listen knows what's going on with our current administration. So, do that. I don't need to talk any more about that garbage right now.
Hey, the president of El Salvador said he'll house dangerous American criminals. He said it today.
Well, we have a felon as a president, so can you take him?
Man, crazy.
Sports Counterpoints, February 4th, 2025. We'll see you after the Super Bowl. Peace.